Fitlicious, is very in its name. You can tell that it, is for people who are health conscious, who are looking for healthier, alternatives and sort of products that fit into a busy lifestyle. So convenience factor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Kaabil Kahani, where it is our job to bring out the stories of the courageous founders who had a certain passion or a certain interest or a certain peeve and they wanted to build it into a business. Share it with you guys, share it with the world. Today we have one such founder. Her name is Maham. She is the founder of Fitlicious, which, as you guys can see here, has made it into my daily breakfast every single day. So I have Greek yogurt with one of our granolas based on today I'm craving cinnamon or I'm craving almond chia or the dark chocolate one, which has turned out to be my favorite. Me and my wife keeps fighting on that a lot, by the way. So this is the new Pakistan. She is one of those that we always bring out to you and say to you that these guys are building a new Pakistan, a Pakistan of passion, a Pakistan of interest, a Pakistan of love, a Pakistan of fitness, a Pakistan of modern businesses led by one founders or a couple or a small team of founders. As always, our goal will be to bring out how she started it, deconstruct some of her habits, some of her mindsets, and share with you guys so you guys can get inspired. You guys can pick up a nugget here and there. And you can, of course, find this podcast on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, but also as case studies in the curriculum and on our website, kaabil.school. With that, let me welcome Maham. Maham, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you. Thank you so much.
Maham, fitness से शुरू करते हैं. The brand is called Fitlicious. Fitness की journey, if you can recall, how long back you can recall that you have been a person interested in the larger ecosystem of fitness and being in the world of fitness?
So I think it's started from the very beginning. मुझे लगता है because my father and my parents, they always inculcated that in us. कि, healthy breakfast होना चाहिए, healthy खाना चाहिए, fruits, you should incorporate a lot of fruits in your diet, vegetables in your diet, but like eating out or restaurants was just something we would do like weekends, weekdays pay, have ghar ka proper like nutritious meals. So I think that was something that was just there from the beginning. Here, I think, so this is something just a part of our lifestyle, shuru se. It's not something, I sort of got into later, eating habits. It was from day one, which is, I think, is very important.
Amazing. And today, if we look at the Fitlicious brand, roughly for the people who are hearing it the first time, how many years old Fitlicious is and what are the products in the Pakistan market?
Okay. So Fitlicious, we started in 2015 actually. So it's 10 years. Yeah. So it's been 10 years since we started Fitlicious. So what we offer is breakfast options, okay, mostly granola. Usme we have introduced cereals, porridge and muesli, but that's still very limited at the moment. So it's mostly we have like 6 different flavors of granola, and we have nut bars. Usme we have 3 flavors, and जो हमारा distinctive selling point हमारे brand का ये है that we make products just with honey. So we don't use sugar, we don't use brown sugar. We don't use any kind of sweeteners in our product, and obviously we don't use any preservatives. So we use a lot of natural, healthy ingredients like nuts and seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, and, pecans and all of, very nuts, which are very healthy and also taste good. So that was our thing, right? We want to combine good, nutritious ingredients with convenience. And it should taste great. So that
I think it definitely works because as I was telling you before we started the podcast as well, that my wife and I had accountability group called Wakenzo Fitness, and we have to put in our breakfast, snack, lunch, dinner, whey protein, all the pictures throughout the day so we can look back at from Monday to Saturday what we did, and based on that we'll take a cheat day on Sunday. So now your breakfast granolas with Greek yogurt has become our feel good happy food. यार अभी आप बेड से उठते हो और आपको जब तक ये आप जाते हो तो it's not even like a you're sacrificing on our breakfast. It's like a feel good breakfast, which is a beautiful feeling to have in the fitness world, because a lot of people associate fitness with like boring bland food,
Yeah,
which is not the
absolutely.
case. हम शुरू करते हैं पीछे से. आप यूनिवर्सिटी से, if we can trace back to university, where were you studying, what were you studying, and what was the career outlook या passion you had back in your mind in those years?
Okay. So I was in Karachi. I grew up in Karachi, went to school in Karachi, A levels in Karachi. I even went to university. In Karachi, I went to IBA. फिर उसके बाद वही bachelor's in business administration, and then I moved right after I graduated. Actually, I got married. जैसे पाकिस्तान में बहुत common है. And then I moved to London. So, mere career sort of just, I didn't get to do a job in Karachi. But there was something which I will, say, ke, when you are in a business school, there's always a lot of emphasis. Ke, you have to work in a multinational. That's the ultimate dream, right? Ke, ultimate kisi ka ye hai ke you get a job in a multinational, and that's the best sort of outcome that you can have, right? And for me, I never felt that way. Okay? So for me, I always felt, okay, why should I work in a, like in a company? And I think I always questioned a lot of things, like if you look at even cereals, right? We have a lot of multinationals, selling cereals, unka marketing, the way they're marketed is very healthy or, very nutritious. But I always question that from day one, okay, what kind of nutrition are they giving, right? If you look at the product, it's just flakes, wheat flakes, or something like that. They have marketing claims which can be misleading, right? They can say, okay, we have, it's a low calorie, but is low calorie necessarily good? No. Is high fat necessarily bad? No. It can have good fats. It can have. So that was something, I always felt, okay, this is, not something I want to do. So when I moved there, I started looking at just organically, you're just looking at stuff for yourself, right? Okay, breakfast options. And I discovered a lot of healthy options that didn't exist in the Pakistani market. You have very good ingredients, aapke nuts hai, almonds hai, cashews hai, which were being incorporated in breakfast and, tasted amazing. So I sort of experimented at home, made granola, made bars, and sort of made people try it out, and everybody really liked it. So, my next trip to Pakistan, I sort of made everyone in Pakistan try it, my family and everyone. They really loved it. And they were like, oh, ye itna healthy hai, isme oats hain. Oats keep you full for longer, so they're really good for you. So this is really good और यहाँ पे नहीं मिलता है ये सब कुछ या फिर जो मिल रहा है it's full of sugar. So that was where sort of the idea came into being. Okay, you know what? Why don't we do something and introduce this in the Pakistani market? And I have, my father also has a business, so we always had a business sort of background. So I think that was something I grew up watching. So it was immediately like, oh, let's do this ourselves. My sister is in Pakistan. She had just quit her job, luckily. So, I think that worked out really well for us. Ke, oh, acha, chalo, why don't we do this together? Because I'm in the UK, you're here. I can handle the sourcing of the ingredients. I can handle the marketing bit, the branding bit. My major was in marketing. So, and you can handle the manufacturing and all of that. So that's where the idea took off.
And which years are we talking about from the time it was
10
launched to exactly 10 years? So 2015. And
Yeah.
2015 in a Pakistan market, though, I would say that even this concept of fitness is part of part of a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's not something you just go to the gym and lift weights about, or running is a normal thing. It's not something that athletes run. Everybody can run. Or even eating this food was a very, very new concept. 2015 wasn't that. So, आपको कहाँ से did you have a close group of community, maybe friends, family, neighbors, जहाँ पे first time you're like, there are like 5-10 बंदे तो हैं या 25-30 लोग तो हैं जिनको ये कुछ इस चीज की अवेयरनेस है कि शुगर क्यों गंदी है, शुगर नहीं खानी, या ये कहाँ से फर्स्ट वैलिडेशन आ रही थी?
I'll tell you. So I think a major factor which really helped us was there's a store in Park Karachi called Nikos. It's a natural store, and it's run by this woman called Miss Nilofer. And she's a women entrepreneur. She was behind. Yeah, she was basically, she's run Hobnob Bakeries, and she's run Copper Kettle. She's the owner behind Copper Kettle, and she runs this natural food store. Up, it's not on such a big scale. At that time, it was quite popular in Karachi. So the first thing I did was I approached her, and I went to her and I said, I have a product that I'm thinking of making, and it's very new for the Pakistani market or yeah. So, I just want you to try it, give your feedback, and I think it'll fit very well in your store, because they have a restaurant and they have a store where they sell like natural sort of ingredients, ऐसी चीजें. So I think when they tried the product, their feedback was really good. And she immediately said, I would love to have this in my store. And I think that was such a big boost for us, right? Like from day one, when we launched, we started stocking in her store. So the encouragement sort of that you get, and the positive feedback, and you immediately had some access to customers, right? If I had started from a page, Instagram page, obviously फिर भी इतनी demand नहीं होती. But to have that platform, I think that was such a big help for us. And
I, it is actually very good point. A lot of the young founders in Pakistan today, because students are graduating in thousands, and everybody is now this social media generation, they don't want to go and do this 50,000 rupees or
yeah,
jobs or 30,000 rupees internships. So they're like, we want to do something of our own. And most people only think that the first way to get into the market is create your Instagram page. So
yes,
here's a different business nugget. There are other ecosystems in Pakistan that might become your first customer. Like she's talking about Nido First Store in Karachi. There's also Fresh Basket in Karachi. There is Baked and Tayyib in Lahore. So Baked is where I discovered Fitlicious. There is Express by Body and Butter in Lahore. So these are the ecosystem providers. Let's say कि आप Apple के app developer हो या Google के आप Android के app developer हो, तो आपको पहले ही पता है कि एक store exist करता है, App Store और Android Store, आपने वहाँ पे app बनानी है. इसी तरह if you are into you want to start your any form of F&B product business, it's a very important thing to know for young founders कि इकोसिस्टम्स अब पहले नहीं एग्जिस्ट करते थे. आई थिंक जब महाम ने शुरू किया शायद एक ही था नीलोफर का, अब थोड़े से ज्यादा हो गया है इन 2024 2025. एंड these ecosystem providers usually become a very good of your first customer to just test the market, have the first feedback with just like 50 products or 100 products if not more. So
absolutely.
इस टाइम पे महम, यू एंड योर सिस्टर आर नाउ, चलो हम नीडो फर्स्ट के स्टोर से करेंगे, वहां तक हो गया. तो अब बताएं कि व्हाट इज द बिहाइंड द सीन्स जर्नी, कि हमारा ब्रांड का नाम क्या होगा, उसका डिजाइनिंग कैसी होगा, उसका फर्स्ट कितना हमने प्रोडक्ट डेवलप करना है, 5, 10, 50, 100, वो कैसे होगा. सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स दैट कम इनटू योर माइंड.
Okay, so yeah, so that was something we were very clear on from day one, which I think really helped us. We branded the product. So we created a brand name, we created good packaging, we sourced our packaging jo locally us waqt. We started off with a brown paper bag, by the way, like a stand-up pouch, jo ab bahut common hai. But at that point in time, actually, it was just very new. So we sourced it, we thought ki nahi, our packaging should be, it should stand out, right? And we got good photography done. हमने बहुत actually उस वक्त मैं लंदन में थी तो मैंने वहीं से कराई, and that photographer was amazing. I think that really helped break through the clutter as well at that point in time. Up to good photography is everywhere. I think you need other ways to break through the clutter, but it helped us. It really helped us. So हमने we thought कि अच्छा नाम should tell you what the brand is about. They should have trust in the brand. Okay, what does it stand for? Fitlicious, is very, in its name, you can tell that it, is for people who are health conscious, who are looking for healthier, alternatives and sort of products that fit into a busy lifestyle. So convenience factor. So that was that. And so we started, actually, we started off with a wider range. और फिर हमने उसको थोड़ी, I mean, flavors we've increased, but we also have these, we introduced these bites as well, these oat bites jo the. We introduced those as well, but we had issues with storing them, because unko, they needed to be stored in the fridge. So, because of the weather in Karachi and because we weren't using preservatives, they weren't lasting that long. So we sort of discontinued that, and we thought we're gonna, stick to the products that obviously have a better shelf life and, are more popular. So we sort of continued with the nut bars, introduced more flavors, and introduced more flavors for our granola as well. So that's how we sort of went ahead. And sorry, what was your other question? There were two questions.
Yeah. So let's still from the design and packaging perspective. एक तो I totally tell you यार, ये जो इस वक्त जो color palette चल रहा है ना Fitlicious के packets के अंदर, it is beautiful, it is
Yeah.
muted, it is fun, it is jolly. This yellow का बड़ा different shade है, then pink का बड़ा different shade है. So I really love these this color palette. So who was the has this evolved, or in the start as well? There was a very distinct design sense behind the brand के लोगों कैसे design करना है, color palette क्या है और किसने किया?
So the logo was done by my someone in my family. So I literally, she's a graphic like designer, and she had just graduated, and she was like, oh, I was like, I just want a basic, but I had the idea in my head, handwritten feel honi chahiye, organic
Right.
feel honi chahiye, so it's very basic, Fitlicious, right? So that's was something what we did. The colors and everything, by the way, that's happened later over the years, because pehle to hamari bahut basic brown packaging thi. We just had our name, for the different flavors. But over the years, when we started stocking in stores, supermarket mein, your product needs to stand out. We can't have a brown sort of packaging, it'll get mixed in the crowd. There's so many products. So we thought, no, we needed to add colors. We needed to add like really good photography. So to tell people what granola is as well, right? Because Pakistan mein abhi bhi awareness nahi hai itni. People don't understand what granola is. People don't understand, okay, how do you eat this? Why is it better than other products? So, it's best to have your product on the packaging. So it communicates, okay, this is what it is and this is how you can eat it. So we moved to colored packaging, and we wanted brown. So we didn't want plastic in our packaging, because that sort of sticks to the brand philosophy, healthier eating, less, our philosophy is less waste. It should be something that sort of maintains that philosophy.
And the first product that was launched were the bars. Was it the bars, like the first बिल्कुल पहली पहली जो चीज
No,
manufacture
so
हुई?
it was the granola. There were two flavors, choco vanilla
ठीक है.
and cinnamon pecan. So we launched with two
Right.
flavors of granola.
Amazing. So
Yeah,
let's take these two. So ये दोनों select किए
yeah.
पहले out of whim कि any market testing क्या सबको सबसे ज्यादा ये पसंद आता है, और वो family हो गई, friends हो गए,
Yeah, we
कैसे?
actually tried with a few flavors, see what people like the most, कि सब flavor combinations सबको कौन से पसंद आ रहे हैं, like pecans obviously, because they're a bit fancier.
Yeah.
People really like that. And choco vanilla with chocolate, everybody loves chocolate.
Yeah.
So I think those were the ones that work best for everybody. Okay, it tastes really good, and cinnamon ka acha flavor hai. So we thought, okay, let's stick to these flavors, and we launched with two. And then with bars as well, at that point in time, we just had one flavor of the bar. So chia flax, jo hamara nut bar hai, that was the only bar we launched with.
Right.
Yeah.
So from people who are looking from the outside, what happens in the launch? उससे पहले हमें did you have to give an order of, let's say, 100 boxes to be created, or 50 or 500? कहाँ पे ये ग्रेनोला बनेगी, ये दो फ्लेवर्स के अंदर कहाँ पे पैकेज होएगा, और कब जाके, और वो प्रोसेस क्या है? What goes behind the scenes in terms of launching?
So yes, so you have to do all your homework. You have to create a brand, you have to create the logo, you have to understand the packaging, you have to design it, then you have to print the packaging, and obviously agar if you're sourcing it from somewhere, कि अगर हमारी brown bags weren't available, okay, we need to import. अच्छा कितने करने हैं वही बात, it's a new brand. You don't want to put all your money in something, massive quantities order nahi karne. So we started with smaller orders. Marketing photography, ye tha कि we did sort of invest in that, right? कि no, we really need good photography so that it stands out, and I think that really helped us. So we decided to spend more than we could have spent less on that as well, but we decided nahi, this is something that will give us a good return, so let's invest in that. And manufacturing, obviously that was something we needed to figure out. But we started from home actually. So we just started from my sister's kitchen. We thought, okay, we're going to get all the equipment we need. She had space, fortunately, to, accommodate all that equipment. Okay, you need an oven, you need all the right, trays and, heating or sealing machine jo hoti hai, and all of that, So we sourced all of that. So yeah, just arranging everything, and because we had an order from Nikos, so we thought, okay, we need to get this order through. So and we did not start selling from our page.
Right. So
Yeah.
Instagram or your Instagram did not come into picture at
No.
this time yet. अभी बस था कि निको के लिए
Yeah.
and do you have a do you remember what was the first number of boxes that went to Nikos?
Uh no, actually, I don't remember. Probably like 20. It was a
Right.
very
Yeah.
small number. Yeah, like
Yeah.
20, 25 boxes because हमारे दो ही
B-
थे. So it was a very, very small
Beautiful.
quantity. And
And
obviously, they don't
how,
want to take that risk as well, right? So they want, okay, chalo, let's start with small, see how it goes, and then, we'll eventually increase our order quantities.
and when you said कि product photography में शुरू में काफी invest किया, वो product photography थी क्योंकि boxes तो निकोस पे जाने थे, तो product photography थी वो website पे जा रही थी कि boxes के ऊपर ही जो चीजें बनी हुई हैं उस सब के लिए.
Because we made a page, Facebook page, that we
तो
did make an
Facebook page
Instagram
was the
page,
start,
yeah,
right?
and we did advertise. So we did start doing Facebook ads, but then we were like, oh, we're stocking at Nikos. So we
हाँ.
didn't start selling from our page. It was just a page that we created to tell people, what the product is about, run ads, and then say, oh, if you want this, you can buy it from Nikos. We're stocking at Nikos. So it wasn't so, I think we didn't want to be a sort of home based, because that's very common in Pakistan, right? Okay, you can order on our page, and I didn't want that. We wanted it to be very professional from day one. And because eventually we always wanted to be in stores and, sort of increase the number of stores, and then website came later as well. So, a few years down the line, then we made our own website as well.
I think very smart as a business founder. You're like, okay, they're manufacturing की एक chain है, then packaging and
Yeah.
branding की एक chain है, and then the distribution is a whole new world altogether. Customer management team भी चाहिए होगी, कितना खुद से करेंगे. So let's take that out for now. Let's just focus on supplying it to it. And Facebook was of course the dominant social media of 2015-16 as well, and
Yeah.
you using ads. So the 20 pieces गए होंगे, approximately 20 boxes. How much
Yeah.
anxiety did they carry with them कि यार ये कोई लेगा नहीं लेगा और लेगा तो क्या कहेगा, क्या लग रहा था? और was a chilled out experience के the heart and soul was with that.
It actually, because we started small, it wasn't like that much pressure. I think pressure comes with how much you're investing in the business, right? Okay, if you've like invested a lot of money, then obviously you're really scared. Ki ab kya hoga? And I think that's happened over the years when we've moved to a bigger premises. So, I think the more you sort of invest in terms of, money also, and if you taken money, someone else is invested in you, then obviously all pressure बढ़ता है. So there was pressure, but it was so small that I think itna zyada nahi tha at that point in time. I think as you grow, the pressure sort of increases as well. That's what happened with us at least.
Yeah. And in terms of ballpark, do you think if somebody is starting, what should be वेरी लाइक सिर्फ 20 बॉक्सेस करने हैं, प्रिंट करना है खुद से, तो अपने कजन से या किसी से डिजाइन करवा ले. व्हाट डू यू थिंक इज अ reasonable startup investment cost, a ballpark that should take person to just launch?
Okay, so I'll tell you, for us, when we invested into our business, that was 10 years ago. So inflation bhi ho gayi bahut.
Yeah.
But at that point in time, I think, spent around 2 to 3 lakh rupees.
And
And
उसमें photography might have been a big one क्योंकि वो लंदन से
yeah,
करवाया था.
yeah. So I think at that point in time, 1 lakh, 1 lakh 50 was just photography की cost हमारी. क्योंकि obviously that he was in London, so obviously उसने अपने हिसाब से charge किया. And my husband actually gave us that money in the beginning. He was like, "Oh, I'll invest in this," and we did return it. As soon as things took off, and like within 5-6 months, I was like, just take this back, because then I don't want ke kisi aur ki investment ho. Then let's just, so that the money sort of comes from the business organically. So so we just did that.
Beautiful. And first launch होता है, उसके बाद it's just every day gets busy kind of thing, कि पहले in the initial first few months like ठीक है अब नया order आएगा तो weekend पे बनाएंगे देंगे. What how does the life change? How did the life change after the first
I
order?
think, see, once things take off, then there's that thing, right? What now from here, right? We've gotten the response, because pehle to you want to know, okay, do people even want this product? Do people are interested in it? Do they like it? Does it taste good? Do they want to order it again, repeat orders? That's really important as well, right? So I think once you get that sort of go on it, okay, no, people are liking it, it's getting a good response. But it was still very small, very, very, very small. We were just in one store. So you were like, okay, now we need to grow. What can we do? So, and then obviously growth, there's so many different things that you can do for growth, right? You expand your product range, or like, you go just expand your distribution. Okay, you go into other stores. So there's, we need to figure out, okay, and obviously we were doing a few at the same time. ये नहीं कि एक कर रहे हैं फिर दूसरा कर रहे हैं. So I think that sort of starts once you get that, okay, good response, okay, now we need to grow. And I will say this, okay, we did grow, but we did grow slowly. And now when I look back, I do feel that we should have been more quick. With that opportunity, when we had that opportunity, we were ahead of the market at that point in time.
Much ahead, much ahead, yeah.
So we should have recognized that and acted upon it a bit more quickly than we did. And obviously the different reasons for this. One, we didn't get funding, external source, koi humne funding nahi li kisi se. So obviously you have, if you're reinvesting your profit, it's still a slower pace, right, of growth. Versus like if you get a massive funding from someone, then you're like, okay, I have a lot of money to invest now. I can invest in distribution. I can invest in creating more products. So our pool was still limited, right? So I think in today's world, I see people, instantly thinking of massive growth. I'm not sure if that's a good thing in the long run, but I feel with us, maybe our pace should have been a bit more quicker than it was.
Was there a time in the journey where you're like, yeah, maybe it could be having one big order or something happened where you're like, yeah, up to hamara inflection point hit ho gaya. Now we are in this for a long run and it's gonna be big. It's gonna consume our life. कोई ऐसा moment याद आता है?
Actually, no, because I think like we were like, okay, one store. We did like this, like 8 store, 2 store, 3 stores. So it was just like very step by step. And we, then we were like, okay, two flavors, now 3 flavors, now 4 flavors. So it was just like we've always gone very slowly. And I said maybe a little too slowly, but I think the biggest factor is one, I haven't lived in Pakistan since then, right? Since we've started this. I think that's such a big factor as well. because we are two co-founders. My sister is there with me, but she's handling the day-to-day operations, right? And I think that's one thing for someone who's starting out, is also hiring people and hiring the right people to help your business grow, and not getting too bogged down by day-to-day stuff of the business. Because I think once you get down to that,
Hmm.
right, then that affects your growth strategy, because you're not thinking of the bigger things. Then you start looking at the smaller things, oh, this, okay, we need to add this to, we need to work with the food technologists for this, we work need because there's so many different things, right? Packaging, there's marketing, there's distribution, as you said. So you need to start hiring also
Yeah.
expertise as soon as you feel okay, you are able to do so. You can, obviously pay them, and you have the finances to do it, instead of trying to do everything on your own. The more you try to put on your plate up, you are less effective in each aspect. That's what I feel.
And with the hiring, who was the first or the first two hires for which kind of roles? What were the roles that first started you hiring specialist for?
Production, manufacturing, like, just
Right.
to make the product, right? Those were the first people we got on. Okay, who's going to make these, right? So we once we had all the setup, then we needed people to like work there. So yeah, those were the first. The
Uh, No, definitely. Absolutely love it. So, अब थोड़ा सा forward करते हैं. तो when
Yeah.
you started your Instagram page or website page, so was there a decision to start, were these pages, web and Instagram, just started for awareness as well? कि there was a shift in strategy कि अब stores पे तो stock in करना है, but let's go direct to consumer as well.
Yes. So, I can't remember the exact time when we launched our website, but I think it was around 3-4 years later. So it wasn't immediate. Pehle to we were like, oh, we're gonna stick to stores, because it's we don't want to take like orders directly. But once you have that system running, you have a good unit where you're manufacturing, and obviously you have staff who can handle daily orders, right? Because that's very different. When you're stocking in stores, it's like, आपको एक bulk में order मिलेगा, right? Versus like if you're getting orders on the page, on your website, it's like, okay, we have, these many orders, you need to do the work, paperwork, कि उसको, you need to package it, you need to put in the address, you have to have a rider who's sending out अगर Karachi में है, and you need to have, the courier company if it's anywhere else, within Pakistan, the order. So obviously there's more different kind of work involved in that. So I thought once we had that sort of premises and the ability to do it, and also I think once you have enough awareness, where we felt that we'll have enough orders, we'll have enough people who want to buy directly from us, and there our customer base जो एक है build हो गया था, कि people had enough trust also कि अच्छा, this is I buy from the store, I'll just buy directly from them, right? वो एक we had that loyalty built.
That loyalty is here as well. We started from baked one packet at a time, और उसके बाद फिर अब डायरेक्ट टू वेबसाइट से ऑर्डर होता है पूरा जो भी 4-5 पैकेट का बंडल चल रहा होता है.
Oh, okay, that's nice. Yeah. So shuru mein they spot you, and I think when people see you in a store, usse na it really builds trust. Versus like online, there's so many things online, there's so many websites. You feel पता नहीं कैसा होगा product, कैसा आएगा, quality कैसी होगी, ये वो. Versus if you see something in a store a few times and it's sort of वही जो unconscious उसमें भी you start thinking okay, I've seen this product in a store, let's buy from them directly. So that really helps.
Right. And in your experience now, let's say in 2025, so 2024 का अगर हम data देखें, तो which of
Yeah.
these supplier stores in Pakistan are now attracting the most consumer base for this new age Pakistani brands, not the P&G, Unilevers and the Nestle products, but these passionate founders. तो कौन सा वाला अब है लाहौर, इस्लामाबाद, कराची के अंदर जहाँ पे ज्यादा लोग जा रहे हैं to try or get these products from?
I think for Lahore, as you mentioned, Baked is doing a very good job with bringing a lot of small businesses, into their stores, like, stocking them and giving them a platform again. And one other store which I think is very nice is Tayyab's.
Right.
Right. Say Tayyab's has been around for a while, and the owner, I think he's doing an amazing job with bringing a lot of interesting brands, a lot of sort of new age, options, healthier options that people are looking for, and he's very particular about who he wants to stock. He says, "Ye acha nahi, ye main nahi stock karunga." So I think he's very good that way. Karachi mein, Nikos hai, but we haven't really had anything else beyond that, actually, interestingly. Uske
Very
baad,
interesting.
we
Yeah.
have, Springs and all of these supermarkets. But then obviously they're stocking everything, right? They're not
Yeah.
stocking a particular kind of product. But I feel that Lahore has many more options, Express that you mentioned by Body Butter. फिर एक और है Hazara store, वही खुली थी. And also there is a new store called Grub in Islamabad, which is sort of like baked.
Right.
They're based on the same idea. We'll stock from different small brands. So I think they're doing well, but it just started. We just started stocking with them, so I'm not really sure कि अभी long term क्या उसका वो होगा. But like right now they're doing well.
And have you tried, or does those 1 day or 2 day events जैसे लाहौर में होता है हरियाली के नाम से एक, या इस तरह के कार्निवल्स टाइप फील वाले ऐसे ट्राई किए हैं? डू दे वर्क टू बिल्ड ब्रांड
Actually,
अवेयरनेस?
we haven't really explored that. Because one, we're not based in Lahore, तो थोड़ा उसकी वजह से it's a bit challenging. And I feel कि अगर आप ऐसे event पे participate करो, then you should be there. Like, you should have someone who can sell the brand well, right? Like explain what the
Hmm.
brand is about, explain, build brand awareness is really important, because events are just about communicating with the customers and sort of telling them or making them try the product. So you need to have someone.
Yeah.
Karachi, interestingly, again, doesn't have an event like that on such a big scale.
Yeah.
We have smaller events that we have participated in. जो time to time होते हैं. They're good, but then they're just good for awareness again.
Yeah.
Brand awareness more than like obviously sales, because वो इतने छोटे scale पे होते हैं. Then that, but it's good. It's good to meet people. It's good to tell them and listen to get feedback from them as well. You sometimes people come up to you and say, "Oh, we've tried this, and ये अच्छा है," or like, "Why don't you guys try this? Why don't you try something like that?" So that's also good.
और कहाँ पे फिर आपको बड़ा मार्केट मिला अपना इन टर्म्स ऑफ लाहौर, कराची, इस्लामाबाद? लेट्स से 100% इज योर मार्केट साइज, तो व्हाट परसेंटेज वुड बी लाहौर, व्हाट परसेंटेज वुड बी कराची एंड इस्लामाबाद एंड रेस्ट ऑफ पाकिस्तान?
So interestingly, लाहौर में अभी भी हमारी presence बहुत limited है. Actually,
राइट.
that's our agenda for this year, because we're still in the smaller stores in Lahore, not in the bigger stores in Lahore.
Which would mean like जो बड़े सुपरमार्केट्स होती हैं,
Yes.
अल्फता
So
टाइप.
Al Fatah, Jalal Sons, Rainbow, Cash and Cash. So like the bigger stores. We're not in
ये
those yet.
and when you say that, that does that imply कि जो कराची में भी big stores हैं, जो भी बड़ी
Yeah.
supermarkets हैं, उनका जो volume of sales is like quite multiple times more than ये baked type of
Yeah.
ecosystems है. So
Because their footfall is like,
right.
it's just a lot more, right? So, जो बड़ी stores हैं, like Springs है, Naheed store है, Spar है, their footfall is really, really good. So, and actually that shows that our product has a market even within
Yep.
those stores. So that's a good thing. Okay, even within those, it is a niche product, but it's still doing well.
Yep.
So also another store in Lahore which is doing well is Amaltas.
Okay, I did not know about
You
that.
haven't? Okay, it's doing quite well. Yeah, they've opened like relatively new. अभी बिल्कुल नई नहीं है, but
Right.
yeah.
और बड़े स्टोर्स के अंदर जो कंपटीशन होता है मोस्टली आपका ये मल्टीनेशनल से ही होता है, P&G's and Kellogg's and Nestle's and Unilevers of the world.
No, there's a lot of local competition as well now. There are other local brands which have introduced like granola cereal or like cereals, not exactly granola, but There we definitely had competition. Nut bars mein competition hai.
Yeah,
There are other brands in the market. They're doing well actually, and they've rapidly expanded. So there is actually, I think, because of price points now.
yeah,
Imported cheeses are very expensive.
yeah,
So I think people are looking for local alternatives, which is great for us. And also, I think maybe because of the boycott that's been happening. So I think that's really encouraged people to try local options as well
yeah.
and like them and, stick to them. So I think that's another factor.
Plus,
The market
I
is
think
growing.
one more thing has happened with you
Yeah.
guys, the new Pakistan founders, is कि अब when the local product is on the shelves versus an international product, यार quality पे branding पे ये neck to neck match हो रहा है. It does not represent anymore कि ये local है तो ये वो होगा जैसे बीपी की बंटी होगी versus M&M's होंगे तो ये वो फर्क नहीं रह गया अब. It's
That's
like
true.
neck to neck. So one of the things that I think really has helped at a subconscious level is that the new Pakistani founders like you guys were like, we can manufacture, design, product place, everything at the top level. It's not anymore कि ये पाकिस्तान से है तो इसके साथ थोड़ा सा victim mentality, थोड़ा sympathy पे जाके खेलना है. Sympathy पे नहीं खेलना, proper quality पे
Product.
खेलना है.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. And I think people are much more aware also now.
Hmm.
Okay, this is, from a multinational, but like, you look at ingredients, right? What's in here? Okay, इसमें कितना sugar है, इसमें कितने preservatives हैं, इसमें कितने artificial flavors हैं.
Yeah,
People are questioning those things and breaking through that, कि वो एक claim है कि, oh, this is healthy. But like, no, is it actually healthy or is just a marketing
yeah,
claim that's being used,
yeah.
right? So I think that's really helped as well. Okay, and obviously, yeah, if we have better products, then people will definitely, buy them. But I have to say, we still can't compete with the multinationals on their budgets in terms of like distribution, marketing, it's still very tough to compete with that, right?
Definitely. Plus the overheads as well. But for the
Yeah,
multinational, the overheads are very high as well.
that's
So I
true.
think
That's true.
from it's a nice product substitution that is happening, which
Yeah.
I have experienced much more in Sri Lanka and Australia. These two countries are very proud of their own local substitution of the products. They're like made in Aussies, by Aussies, grown in Aussie.
So
और
good, right? Yeah.
similarly श्रीलंका आप पीएनजी यूनिलीवर कैलॉग्स नेस्ले का कुछ नहीं ढूंढ सकते वहां से उनका खत्म हो गई
Really.
है मार्केट एवरीथिंग इज सब्स्टिट्यूटेड बाय द लोकल प्रोडक्शन
Wow.
I've not been to Iran but I think Iran के अंदर भी बिल्कुल सिमिलर चल रहा है कि
But
the local
Iran and Sri Lanka, there are different economic factors that probably led that as well,
different
right?
yeah
But then
yeah
that's good, right? It's. I think it's really good. It's fantastic.
Sri Lanka ki GDP per capita is 3x of Pakistan. So people are much more well off in Sri Lanka than in Pakistan. It's a very different economy. वो हम जब थे तो हमें लगता था कि बाहर से लग रहा था
अच्छा.
कि श्रीलंका बैंकरप्ट हो रहा है बट वो
Yeah,
लोकल
actually, that's the impression.
पाकिस्तान की इस वक्त जीडीपी पर कैपिटा वुड बी 1600 to 1700
Yeah.
यूएसडी और श्रीलंका 4500 पे बैठा हुआ है
Oh,
so
wow.
it
That
is
is
a small
amazing.
market but unka ye jo this awareness कि we need to consume products that are done by Sri Lanka they're all natural koi fertilizers are banned in Sri Lanka that's why by the way PNG's Nestle and these guys are allowed to sell in Sri Lanka if they don't use fertilizers which they do so
Oh,
वो
oh.
उनका गवर्नमेंट का रूल ही ऐसा है कि आप कुछ सेल ही नहीं कर सकते श्रीलंका में इफ इट इज नॉट प्योरली ऑर्गेनिक मतलब बाकी कंट्रीज में होता है ना ऑर्गेनिक शेल्फ एंड एवरीथिंग एल्स श्रीलंका में 100% ऑर्गेनिक यू डोंट इवन हैव एन इनऑर्गेनिक ऑप्शन
Oh, that's so interesting. That is very interesting.
चल फिटिलिशियस को लेके चलते हैं श्रीलंका इट कुड बी अ मार्केट it could acha lastly on the last 5 minutes I want to spend
Yeah.
on the social media part
Yeah.
सोशल मीडिया कब आप इंस्टाग्राम पे आए हो कैसे सोचा यार ये इंस्टाग्राम की दुनिया को कैसे क्रैक करना है और सिर्फ इंस्टाग्राम पे हो कि टिकटॉक और यूट्यूब पे भी हो और व्हाट हैज बीन द एक्सपीरियंस सो फार
Yeah, we're mainly just on Instagram, not on TikTok as such. And Instagram, is an amazing tool to tell people about your brand, and I'll tell you something interesting. Right when we started 2015 again, it was so new, right? The whole idea of sending your product to an influencer. उस वक्त तो ये terms भी नहीं था, I remember, but we did send it to a couple of people, you know, and उस time it wasn't a paid thing, right? It was just
Yeah.
like, okay, if someone likes your product, they'll post about it. And we sent our product to a couple of like famous people. Also includes Aisha Umar. You know, she's really into healthy eating. So she reposted our product, you know,
Wow.
and I think that gave us such a good boost because I remember I was taking a flight कहीं से कहीं और उसी वक्त शायद मैंने पहले post किया था before like you know going, and then when I landed I was like, oh my god, so many more followers, that's amazing, you know. So and उस time we were like very very small, we had just started वही again एक दो साल में I started Instagram like उस वक्त. And it's a great tool to tell people about your product, you know, to have customers, you know, the mostly up to Facebook maybe, you know, you get most of your customers from Instagram, right? All the ads that we run and everything, most of the traffic is coming from Instagram, not from Facebook anymore. So
Yep.
it's, you know, we use it, but I feel increasingly it's becoming difficult to sort of break through and sort of make your brand stand out because there's so much out there, right? Everyone sort of trying to get some attention, you know, okay, okay, with their videos and everything. But at the end of the day, it works. It, you know, it's and we have you know, an agency that does our marketing for us. It you know, so you get a response from it, and you just have to work, and you have to constantly create content, and you have to constantly put things out there, you know, posts and videos and reels. So, you know, yeah.
Is there one type of content on Instagram that has resulted in most what is the 20% of the content that let's say resulted in 80% of the outreach, and that could be माइक्रो इन्फ्लुएंसर्स के आपने उनको दिया, मैंने एक आध वीडियो देखी फॉर एग्जांपल 70,000 फॉलोअर 70,000 व्यूज 100,000 व्यूज भी है शायद 25,000 व्यूज ऑन सर्टेन रील्स. It does the micro influencer strategy work और very authentic है ये महम खुद बैठी हुई है और उसने अपनी रील बना दी with making her own granola. Does that work? और ये जो very beautifully crafted posters होते हैं, does that work? What works most?
I think what works the most in terms of views and engagement is micro influencers. That's probably worked out the most for us. You know, when and I think when you're looking at micro influencers, you have to see who is their market, like who are their followers, right? The influencer has to have relevance to your brand. That's really important because you know up to date there's so many influencers in today's era, and there's so many people who are actually inboxing, you know, your page, okay, you know, let's work together, but I feel like a lot of them, you know, are not relevant to our brand. You know, they don't have an audience that's into healthy eating. They don't if someone's posting about like going into restaurants, right, every day and posting like amazingly like uh good food but not necessarily healthy food, then they don't have that audience who would be interested in having, you know, healthier granola or healthier nut bars, you know, nahi hota wo. So I think it should be an influencer that is relevant. I think that's really important instead of like, you know, not everyone's going to work.
Yeah.
And posts are important, I think, for building brand awareness. Like, you know, if you have
Right.
good, really good posts and really good information to tell people, right, to educate people, okay, this is, you know, why is our product better than another product on a shelf, right? Why is it important to have, you know, good ingredients? So I think it's really important for that to have like, you know, information on your page for people to look at it and learn from it.
100 I think our research data backs that कि जो पाकिस्तान में micro influencers हैं, for example people who have 5 10,000 or 20,000
Yeah.
followers, they are getting, let's say at a 10,000 followers they are getting about 50% reach, which is like 5,000 people of their audience end up seeing their reel or whatever they create. But जो mega influencers है, let's say 100k plus or a million plus, उनका जो percentage है, that's let's say 1%. So a million पे 100k लोग देख रहे हैं. So if somebody engages 10 to 20 micro influencers, the overall reach and the overall cost that it takes is sometimes it's almost free, because people like who have 5-10,000 followers, and
They're
they
not
would
charging
definitely
on.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
बट एक बड़े इन्फ्लुएंसर्स को देना जिसमें बहुत ज्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट होगी, few lakhs upfront, to get that reach is usually not the best strategy, especially because the top influencers category के अंदर वो very rarely you find somebody who represents your brand.
Yes.
Instead, at micro influencer you can find a lot of these university students जो अपने अपने छोटे से group के अंदर they are representing some fitness or healthy eating and so on.
Also, I think you need one. Obviously, they're the mega influencers again. They're charging a lot now. So for a small brand like ours, also sometimes we don't have that sort of. I mean, yes, you can go with them, but then you will have like a video which is going to work for a few months and that's it, right? Then you need another one. So I think I think consistency is also very important, right? If you consistently produce engaging and good content that produces better results than having one really good video, which is going to last a few months and then you'll need another one. So I think, you have to think of the long-term strategy as well. Okay. I need consistent uh, content.
Perfect. I think to end with, I want to ask actually two parts of the last question. One is, now we are looking at 2025 open
Yeah.
year in front of us. आप पाकिस्तान के अंदर fitness का market trend, this new age of new breed of people, आपको किस तरह देख रहे हो कि ये this is gonna grow, this is gonna saturate, and what are you excited about? Part B of the question is, what are you excited about when it comes to your brand?
So our brand, our I plan for 2025 is we really would like to explore and grow in the Punjab region, Islamabad, Rawalpindi, Lahore. We still feel that we have very limited presence there. So that's something we really would like to achieve in this year. And I think there is growing awareness about healthier products. I have my own nephews who are like, in their teens, who are early 20s, and they're like, they're working out. They know the difference between like, okay, this is healthy, and we didn't have that growing up, it was, so I think that's a very, very good thing, to understand this is good for us, and okay, it's important to work out regularly. It's important to even play, even if you're playing a game or something, playing some sort of sport, that's really good. So I think it shows great potential. Pakistan may, in terms of population, because we have such a massive young population, I think there's immense potential. It's just that the conditions sometimes, though they aren't that favorable, economy wise. The government, if they had better policies, it would be amazing. It would really encourage businesses to grow. I think that would be great. But I think in terms of people, I think it's a massive potential, and also growing awareness. So that's great for us.
Amazing. Where can people find you in terms of आपका Instagram handle, website का URL, and some partner locations जहाँ पे वो आपकी products in major cities of
Okay.
Pakistan?
So our Instagram is Fitlicious_PK. And our website is the Fitlicious.pk again, www.fitlicious.pk. And so if you are in Lahore, then you can find us at Tayyab's, and there's also Green Valley. There's
Yeah.
Express by Body Butter Baked. This is where we are mainly. Isa G's as well. And in Karachi and Islamabad, we're in Isa G's again as well. And there's the new place that I mentioned called Grub. Karachi, we're in quite a few stores: Spars, Springs, Nahid, अच्छी खासी stores, जो छोटी stores हैं, Petromarts maybe, but also we're online. So we're on if you can just order from our website, and we deliver like in smaller cities as well. Interestingly, we have a lot of small cities as well where people are ordering from there. So demand hai. People are
That is amazing.
try new things. Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, so you heard it. You can order anywhere online.
Yeah.
These guys will deliver. I highly recommend you guys try it. And also, I hope all of you guys who are watching it or listening to it or reading it as a case study on Kaabil.school, you guys found many nuggets around it. I think one of my favorite ones was कि सिर्फ Instagram से brand शुरू नहीं होता. Brand can be started in many other ways as well. And one of the best ways in Pakistan that is building up is through partner distributors. अगर आप F&B की साइड पे हो, ट्राई सीन के कहाँ पे हाउस कर सको. और बिकॉज जैसे इन्होंने बताया कि ग्रब अभी शुरू हो रहा है इस्लामाबाद में एज ऑफ 2025, तो दीज न्यू एस्टैब्लिशमेंट्स दैट आर कमिंग अप दे विल बी मोर रिसेप्टिव क्योंकि उनके पास अभी शेल्फ स्पेस होती है. Similarly, there are carnivals that are happening in Lahore, Karachi, Islamabad, and other cities. Once a month events that are happening. Very good to market test. Very good to build your customer loyalty. And also that, as she mentioned, कि बिल्कुल स्टार्ट के लिए बहुत ज्यादा फंडिंग नहीं चाहिए, मेहनत ज्यादा चाहिए. So put in the work rather than put in the money, and as you scale, you figure out the scaling problems as they come. I think with that, Maham, thank you so much for giving us time, and we'll stay in touch. You have beautiful stories to share, and we love that you are making Pakistan more upbeat, more fit, and you're making our lives, particularly my life, much more happy and feel good as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And what you're doing is great, telling people and inspiring stories, and then they can, do something on your own, of their own, which is absolutely fantastic.